Why do we need decentralized finance? What is it good for? If you're interested in investing in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency but don't know much about it, this is a great place to start from. In this video, I'm going to talk about the differences between the traditional finance system as you know it today, we'll call it centralized finance, or in short, CeFi, and the alternative that you probably heard of, it's called decentralized finance. Most, if not all, of the cryptocurrencies are traded on this system. The few things I'm going to touch base about in this video are, first, the definitions. We're going to start by defining each character, the centralized finance and the decentralized finance. We're going to talk about the definition of each system, and then we're going to go down to the functionality of each system, the way it's structured, the way it was built. That's going to lead us to the third point of advantages and disadvantages of each system. And finally, we're going to discuss about which system is better. Wrong. We're not going to do that. I don't think it's my place to discuss. We can discuss about it in a comment, but it's not my place to decide for you what's better for you. I'm going to lay out the facts for you, the advantages and the disadvantages. I'm going to leave you the decision to decide if you think that centralized finance is better or decentralized finance. I think it's good to know the difference between the two to better understand how to make a smart decision towards the future. Let's begin. So according to the analyticsteps.com, I'm going to leave the link to in the description below if you want to read the whole blog post. But they giving pretty accurate definition of what is centralized finance. And this is what they wrote. Centralized financial system refers to the concentration of planning and decision-making processes inside an organization to a single leader or location. In a centralized organization, the head office retains decision-making authority, while the subordinate office receive orders from the main office. The head office houses the executive and the specialist who make a crucial decision to the whole organization. This is the definition of CeFi, and it's pretty accurate. Almost every bank, every financial institution you currently know is working that way. They have the main office, the headquarters. The headquarters are giving orders to the rest of the branches. It's working in a bank, any corporation. It's working in even exchange fiat money to cryptocurrency currently. We're talking about KuCoin, Coinbase, Binance, even Cash App, PayPal. All these apps, they basically have a headquarters. They're giving orders to the rest of the subordinate offices. Decentralized finance is a financial service that utilizes a set of smart contracts and algorithms to execute its services. The contracts are automated agreements that do not require intermediaries or banks. They run on the Ethereum network and they use blockchain technology. DeFi platforms like Compound Finance are non-custodial, which means users deposit their funds to manage by smart contracts. No company or individual has an access to the fund. As you see in DeFi, the whole definition is to disconnect any human beings. There's a coder who writes the code for the smart contract, and then the user is engaging only with the smart contract in order to exchange funds. There's no human involved. Only the coder who developed that can engage with it, and the end user who actually engaging on trading with the smart contract. So if we already mentioned blockchain, smart contract, let's talk about it a little bit. If you want, I can go dive deeper into it, but I'm pretty sure you already heard about blockchain technology and what is smart contract. But just because we're dealing with defining decentralized, let's talk about blockchain. So what is blockchain? In order to understand what is blockchain, I want you to start with watching this video.
When you want to buy something normally, using your normal bank card, this is what happens. I give my card details to the shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records to show the movement of money from my account to the shop's. Oh, and it takes a little cut for its trouble. Now, if you wanted to remove the bank from that system, who else would you trust to keep those records and not alter them or cheat in any way? Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you. In fact, I wouldn't trust any single person, but I might trust everyone. The idea is you don't have a central record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. Each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, I give the shop my details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop, and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies, and it gets rejected. Oh, and one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created cryptocurrency. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers.
In this example, it's oversimplifying blockchain, but basically blockchain is this network of computers. They all have the same ledger of transaction. Now think about it that way. It's not just one person transaction, it's a whole lot of people that each one of them have an account that's counting how much transaction, how much crypto they own, and they just passing that ledger. And it's all connected by a chain. That's what's called blockchain. It's made out of blocks that connected by a chain. I'm not going to dive more into how the actual technology works. I can talk about it in a different video. But right now, just so you understand what's a blockchain, it's the same thing you saw in that video. The network of people, the verifying the transaction, this is the blockchain. And the people who get the reward, each one of computers is considered a miner. Why are they calling a miner? Because they're getting rewarded by the cryptocurrency they're mining each time they do a transaction. They call solving a block. So each computer that basically writing down the transaction, updating the blockchain is getting rewarded. So if they're on the Bitcoin blockchain, they got rewarded by Bitcoin. If they're on the Ethereum, they got rewarded by Ethereum, and so on and so forth. Back in 2009, you could just do it with one computer because the networks just started. Nowadays, most of these computers are not working alone. A lot of the people who are doing mining, they're not using one video card. They have several video cards and they call it a mining rig. If you want to learn more about mining crypto and mining rig, and this idea is really blow your mind, check out Voscoin. He's diving more into crypto mining and what exactly do you need in order to mine crypto, but it's truly fascinating subject. I suggest you should check him out. The link in the description to his channel. So you probably already know you have probably a bank account, or you try to exchange fiat money to a cryptocurrency on either one of these exchanges. It's Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Each one of these, or even Robinhood. Each one of these trading exchanges are basically connecting to your financial institution, your bank account, and taking your fiat money and converting it to crypto is considered a centralized finance. And what are the functionality? The financial institution is receiving fiat money, fiat currency, US dollar, euros. So what is a US dollar backed by right now? Currently, trust. The trust between the people and the government. Currency is something that among businesses, among population and communities, as long as they agree to use the same currency to exchange goods and services, this currency gets power. I believe we will get to a point that there will be one cryptocurrency, or at least one or two, they're going to be the dominant cryptocurrency, that they're going to be acceptable among the other businesses for exchange. And as soon as something has more utility, more use, it will become much more powerful and much more dominant in the market. Now, regarding the way that DeFi is working is fairly simple. As I showed you in that video, it's working on blockchain and smart contracts. And what does it mean? What's a smart contract? A smart contract is basically an application written in Solidity and deployed to the blockchain. The end user is engaging only with the smart contract whenever he wants to either buy, sell, or exchange cryptocurrency or NFTs. That's why the only conversation that you see on a blockchain is between the smart contract and the end user. When I say the end user, I mean the person who owns the digital wallet and engaging with the smart contract. The whole engagement on the blockchain is occurring between the end user and the smart contract, and there's no involvement of any third parties in between. That's what making it very secure, very independent, and the people basically control the smart contract are the developers of the smart contract who created it, but they're not actually transacting. It's not like e-commerce that you're transacting with every customer whenever he's purchasing from your website. When it's involved with a smart contract, since it's a piece of code that it's working every time that some end user is engaging with that, is making the process fairly automatic. Meaning if you want to mint or if you want to purchase any coins, if you want to exchange any coin, you don't need to contact any financial institution. Just going to the website and you're engaging with a smart contract. That's basically it. Another important functionality that you need to remember about DeFi. Most DeFi platforms giving you the option to stake coin and to earn, they call it passive income, but I'll take it furthermore and I'll say it's not just passive income. When you're staking a coin, it's basically like you saying, I believe in this project. I want to take the money that I already purchased from you and I want to stake it and put it in some kind of a saving account to earn interest. So they'll have more money in the liquidity. And it's a great way to earn interest. These DeFi platforms giving you the option not just to exchange coins, but also to put money in liquidity farms, in staking pools, and other methods that you can earn more money for the crypto you have. And also a lot of these decentralized finance platforms giving you also bonuses, free coins, airdrops, stuff like that. Loans. Let's talk about the differences and loans between the two systems. In the CeFi system, if you want to get a loan, you gotta put your best suit, put your best game show, go to the branch of the bank. Hopefully you know the banker. Doesn't really matter nowadays. And you go there, you're going to try to make your best impression on the banker and on the bank. And essentially what it's going to boil down is they're going to give you a piece of paper, loan application, and they're going to ask you, who are you? What's your name? Social security? Where do you live? How much money you make? What's your asset? And then they're going to say, okay, now we're going to send it to the underwriting department. Who are these people? But we're going to send it to some computer outside that never talked to you. And he basically going to take all these figures, all this data that you provided us, and make the decision based on your credit score, credit history, assets, income, if you're qualified or not qualified for a loan. Well, in DeFi, in order to qualify for a loan, all you need is just the collateral. If you have collateral, you can get up to 75% of the value of the collateral you put down. That's it. That's all you need. Doesn't ask your name for your social security. They don't care who you are. All they care is how much money you put up front. If you want to get a loan, you need to put collateral so you can use it as a leverage. I think it's good and bad. From one hand, they don't ask who you are. They just ask what kind of collateral you're putting in. That's first. Second is, if you didn't pay the loan, they're just taking your collateral. It's that easy. In DeFi, the loans are mostly for leverage if you want to borrow against the assets that you already have so you can make more money. But it's a little risky. You got to know what you're putting your money on, because as you know, the cryptocurrency is very volatile. So if you put your money or borrow against your asset and put the borrowed money on bad investment, you might lose the asset that you took the loan against. So do your own research before you dive head into that kind of shallow pool. Let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each system. We're going to start with the CeFi. So The advantages of CeFi is, first of all, think about it that way. Because most of the control is in hands of one entity, they are responsible for the security of the funds that you give them. You probably know that the funds that you deposit in your bank are insured by the FDIC. That's basically a government organization that's supposed to insure your funds up to $250,000. If someone is stealing funds from your account, and if you don't have a lot of money, if you're on paycheck to paycheck, you're probably checking your bank account every day, and you notice these kind of unauthorized transactions. As soon as you notice one, you can just call your bank, say, I didn't authorize that. They're going to investigate in their end, and 90% of the time, they will give you your money back. It might take some time, but you're probably going to see your money back. So you know that your account is fairly secure, especially if it's small amounts of money, less than 250,000. It could happen. And you know, the bank is covering you. You lost your debit card, your credit card. You can just call your credit card company or your bank and tell them, pause the card. I lost the card. Just return me the card and no harm done. Unlike decentralized, if you transfer your money to your non-custodial wallet, meaning think about it in that way. It's just like you hold money in your actual physical wallet, and God forbid you walking down the street, someone gun pointing you and taking your cash, nobody's going to give you your money back, unfortunately. Yeah, your money's gone. It's gone. Don't walk around with big sums of money. Make sure that in your wallet you have no more than, I don't know, $50, $100. I think that idea is true also for hot wallets because they're more vulnerable to hackers. It's good that if you keep small amounts of money on your hot wallet and big money in your cold wallet. And we're going to talk about it more in a video that I made about the difference between hot wallet, cold wallets. We're going to compare digital wallets and the way they securing your funds. I think this is a very fascinating subject, and if you want to check it out to better understand how to work with a wallet, how to secure your crypto, the beautiful thing about these amazing technologies, it's considered a non-custodial, meaning even if you buy a ledger or Tether, some of these cold wallets or hot wallets is considered a non-custodial wallet, meaning it's just like going to the store and buying a leather wallet. The bank doesn't owe that, or the company who developed that technology doesn't owe that wallet. Whatever is in your wallet belongs to you. And these companies can come back and take it away from you. Leading me to another point about the disadvantages in CeFi. The bank or any centralized finance might put limitation on you. That's the other disadvantage. It could set limitation on your withdrawal or your deposit, can decide how much fee you're going to pay if you're going below zero, for example, or if you do an international transaction. So this is another point that in centralized finance, it's disadvantage, that they might keeping your money, but also limiting you with the amount of transaction you want to do, the kind of coins that you can purchase. So on exchange, certain exchanges like Robinhood or PayPal, Cash App, KuCoin, Gemini, all of these, since they are centralized, they're the one making the decision which coin you can buy, how much is going to be the fee, and when can you buy it, or how much can you buy. And if they change their mind about specific coins, then there's not much you can do about it. The other advantage, I think you can look at it either way, advantage and disadvantage. Depends who you ask. We talked about limitation. So if you're working with a traditional bank, you probably get a debit card and they put a limit on the amount of cash you allow to withdraw. Or even if you're going to the banker, you might have a limited amount that you allow to withdraw, and they're going to ask you, why do you need that money for? What are you planning to do with the money? I know a lot of you probably going to say,
so mind your damn motherfucking business, bitch.
What if I want to go buy drugs? I want to buy in weapons, nuclear weapons. I don't know. Why is it the bank's business? So what they're imposing is basically to prevent money laundering. They claim it under, we're trying to protect you. Think about that scenario. If you're going to the ATM to withdraw cash, and then poof.
Where's the money, Lebowski? You want that money, Lebowski? Bunny says you're good for it. Where's the fucking money, shithead?
My bank is limiting me to withdraw no more than $300. So he might tell you, okay, so just give me $300 and call it a day. So, but as I said, you can look at it as advantage or disadvantage. Or if you have a bipolar issue and you just, you have that rush of purchasing, if the credit card or the bank, the debit card is putting limitation on the amount of stuff you're allowed to buy in one sitting, sometimes it's a good thing. It can pause you, can break you from going into cycle of keep purchasing and purchasing impulsively. As I said, limitation could be a benefit and could be a disadvantage. Depends how you look at it. Another point, in centralized exchanges, it's easier to exchange your fiat currency, US dollar, euros, whatever coin or currency you use, the official currency of the government, to crypto. And not just that, think about in certain decentralized exchange, you can bridge between blockchain to blockchain, or you can exchange, let's say, sushi swap for USDC coin, stable coin. So you allowed to do that in centralized finance. You can purchase different kind of coins, and it's going to be easier, sometimes cheaper to exchange it on centralized exchange than decentralized, because remember, when it's decentralized, it's going through the blockchain, and every time you're going to do a transaction on the blockchain, it requires some gas fees, and lately gas fees on the Ethereum network are pretty high. So maybe when we move to Ethereum 2.0, things will change. You can buy on different blockchains. Let's say you want to buy AVAX or Matic on Polygon. I'm not sure you can actually do that on Coinbase. Maybe on Kraken or other apps, you might be able to buy, let's say, Matic on the Polygon network, or AVAX on the Avalanche blockchain, but I'm gonna dig in more into it, and I'm gonna make another video about it because I'm not sure about it. I don't want to confuse you or misguide you or mislead you. Okay, so let's talk about the disadvantages. As I mentioned, the disadvantages of a CeFi is, first of all, the fact that it's all the power centralized in one entity. One person, one CEO, one president, one entity that make the decision what kind of coins are going to be available on the exchange and how much every person will be allowed. As you probably, if you use Robinhood, you can relate to that problem when people try to buy AMC stock and they just put a limit. That's another disadvantage. Second, they can decide how much every person can buy, and they can decide how much is going to be the fee to purchase every coin or stock. So one more thing that a lot of blog posts mentions about centralized finance is the fact that you don't own the private key. I know a lot of you probably going to say,
frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
In essence, when you own the private key, as I explained, it's like owning your own physical wallet. Meaning it's your wallet, it's in your pocket. Nobody can take that money away from you. All the information that is stored on that wallet is basically on the blockchain. It can be erased. You can only add or withdraw from there with the authorization of the key holder. Unlike regular wallet that can be hacked by a robbery, or if someone is breaking into your house and breaking into your physical safe, when you're talking about digital cold wallet, it's almost impossible if you don't have the mnemonic phrase holding all the keys for that wallet. When you're purchasing coins on a centralized exchange, you don't own these coins. They're basically holding the coins for you until you transfer them to your non-custodial wallet. Hypothetically, they can take your money if you, let's say you owe money to the IRS, or if they want to impose some kind of restriction on you because you did some kind of violation or something. It could be anything, you know. Indeed, you purchased these coins on their platform, it still belongs to them because you don't own the private key. One more thing, they are prone to hackers and cyber attacks to wipe out all the fun. There was a case, I can find out the exact detail, but there was a case of centralized finance that just like Binance, that it was, I think, yeah, it was Binance. It was Binance. That some hacker broke into the centralized finance and stole $450 million worth of Bitcoin from that centralized finance. And unfortunately, since it's centralized, the key belonged to Binance. Probability that a hacker will try to break into a big central finance are much more highly than if you'll try to break into a small wallet. Because digital wallets in general, they have a long private key that the probability of finding that key are not that high. In fact, you have higher chances of winning the lottery 20 times than finding the actual a private key of a specific wallet that you don't know about its existence. That's how secure it is. One more thing, disadvantages of CeFi. There's no transparency, meaning since most of these transactions are happening, if you are exchanging on centralized finance, all of the transactions are happening within the exchange, meaning the people who has the data about how much coins were purchased, which coins were purchased, from where to where, are the one who holding the key, the headquarters. They know how much people purchase, what did they purchase, when did they purchase, and that way they hold this information that might be valuable if you're a trader. If you trading on the blockchain, on the other hand, you can see all of that. It's a network of computers that communicating between them. If you go on Etherscan, you'll be able to see who's transferring, how much they're transferring, and what kind of coins or cryptocurrency or staking, what exactly are they doing on the blockchain. Since everything is out there, has been put out there, you can actually look at these numbers and figure out the big players, the whales as you guys call them, what are they doing and how they're moving their money in the blockchain, and that way be a better, smarter player in that game. One more thing, I think we all taking it pretty much for granted that every time you deposit a check or you transfer money, it might take at least between a day to 3 days to transfer or wire transfer a big chunk of money. It might take almost a week. Not in cryptocurrency. On a decentralized finance, as soon as you do the transfer from one wallet to another, or from your wallet to a staking pool, it's happened instantly. As soon as you do the transfer, it could happen maybe between 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how much gas fee you put in, but it's pretty much instantly. I think that's the beautiful thing about it. And currently, because we are in an era that we used to wait so long, we're just taking it for granted. As soon as we switch to a decentralized finance and everybody is going to be able to transfer fund in instance of a snap in less than 5 minutes, I think it's going to change the perspective of people, and then going back to the traditional finance is going to be very hard. The advantages of the DeFi. So the first thing is it's an open code. When Satoshi Nakamoto developed the Bitcoin blockchain, he made sure that the code will stay open for development. And that's exactly what Vitalik and the team that developed Ethereum basically did. They took the same kind of technology and they developed on top of it smart contract, NFTs, and other kind of information that will be able to base on the blockchain technology. So the good thing about it, about blockchain, that it's open code, as I mentioned it several times. You can see what other investors are buying, what are they buying, how much are they buying, when, if they're staking it, if they're not staking it, and how long are they staking it, when are they unstaking it, if they're cashing out, if they're cashing in. You can see all of this information right in front of you if you have the right tools, and that's what beautiful about it. Second thing, the blockchain is continuously working. If you want to trade with either Robinhood or E-Trade or any out of these trading stocks or trading apps, you need to wait for the market to become available. It's going to be Monday to Friday between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Outside this schedule, you might be able to put options for tomorrow, but the probability that you'll be able to trade today is not possible. In blockchain, on the decentralized finance, the market is always open. 24 hours, 7 days a week. If you want to exchange, move funds, as I mentioned, if you go to the bank and deposit a check or you receive direct deposit, if you receive that direct deposit on Saturday or Friday, you're probably going to see it only on Monday. Not in decentralized finance. As soon as you transfer the money from your wallet to a staking pool or from your wallet to another wallet, the money's there in less than 5 minutes, in less than 10 minutes, depending on how much gas you put in, but it's instantly. It's not going to take days. It's going to take exactly the amount of process of code that the blockchain need to process in order to complete the transaction. And that's it. The next advantage can be also a disadvantage. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the system is anonymous. What does it mean? When I say you can look on how much people bought and what exactly they bought and when did they bought, like how much coins or cryptocurrency they purchasing, you're not going to see a name right next to it. What you see is a code. Everything is anonymous. What does that mean? That even if you see how much people trade, you have no idea who that guy is. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't even matter, but sometimes it does. In cases that, if you put your money in a wallet and someone stole that money from you, since it's very transparent, you can tell who that person is. Problem is, only find is just a code. You have no name, no phone number, no address. You have no idea how to reach that person or ask for your money back. So it's kind of a tricky situation. It's good and bad. So I think it's advantage that it is an anonymous, because you can still track things without being fully exposed of who you are. On the other hand, it's a bad thing, because if someone is steal from you, it's anonymous. You have no idea who that person is. Another advantage, every transaction, and I mentioned it several times on that video already, every transaction on the decentralized finance is happening on the blockchain. It's advantage and disadvantage. It's advantage because every transaction is pretty much transparent. If someone want to see, did you transfer me the money? I'm going to show them, yeah, this is the running code, that this is what the system gave me. That's basically some kind of an invoice number that says I transferred that money from this wallet to this wallet. On the other hand, every transaction is on the blockchain. So for every transaction, you're going to have to pay small fee and gas fee. That's why I think it's a little bit of disadvantage too. If we want to use the blockchain as a network, just like we use Facebook or Twitter, it's going to be very expensive to use these kind of transaction just to tweet or to post some pictures. I think this technology was mostly created to disconnect from the bank in order to make it more efficient and easier for people to transact with each other without have a middleman. They're gonna decide what's the limitation they're gonna impose on them. They're gonna have if they want to exchange goods or services. Another advantage that could also be a disadvantage. DeFi is trustless and permissionless. They mentioned it in the blog post that I put in the description. And what does that mean? Since there are no involvement of either banks or the government yet. I say yet. Well, I hope that the government will not get involved, but I have a feeling that there's not much they can do about it. Because, as I mentioned, the blockchain is pretty much a system that was designed to be separated from the bank. It's designed to work autonomously by itself, just with coders. Meaning, if you want to control what's going on the blockchain, you have to create some kind of a smart contract and then deployed it to the Ethereum network or to whatever network you decide to work on. It's good and bad that the government or any banks can't put their hands on that. And if they were smart, they would actually try to participate in the game instead of trying to control it. When I say participating, I meant if the government would take advantage and maybe mine crypto instead of trying to regulate it, it might be able to make it actually a good source of income. The same way that Alaska was using the oil drill and the government land to distribute a universal basic income for its residents, the US government could do the same thing with crypto mining. You can look on disadvantage as permissionless and trustless as a good thing because the government is not involved and have no hands. They're going to try, but I don't think they will be able to do anything about it. And it's good thing and bad thing because it's permissionless. It's really a welcoming environment for scammers, a very welcoming environment for people who like to stay anonymous and do shady things. That's why usually most hackers taking ransom in the decentralized finance in the blockchain. But just like hammer or a knife, it could have good use and bad use. It all depends who using it, what are they using it for. Another advantage of DeFi is there is no limitation. No limitation on user transaction, on the cryptocurrency they store, how much they store. It's no limitation on on a digital wallet or on a DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, meaning any like Compound or Aave or any of these centralized exchange that you can stake your money or you can exchange different cryptocurrency. There's no limitation. You can exchange as much money as you want or cryptocurrency, and you can store it on your wallet. Nobody's going to tell you how much you can store. Nobody's going to charge you any maintenance fee, any transaction fee, no fee. The only fee you pay is if you want to do transaction between wallet to wallet, meaning if you want to stake, if you want to swap, or if you want to transfer between wallet to wallet, you're just paying the current gas fee. And as I mentioned, if you want to watch more about gas fees, you can check out my previous video about gas fees that talk all about how to calculate gas fees and how to save on gas fees. Hopefully this year in 2022, the Ethereum team is going to roll the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, and it might be able to be even cheaper than what it is currently. When you transferring money from centralized exchange to decentralized non-custodial wallet like MetaMask or Ledger, the money that you transfer is basically yours. If you stake it or if it's located on any DAO app. As I said, DAO is Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So any of these apps or any of these exchange that you can stake your money on, liquidity pool, yield farming, all of these good stuff. Speaking of that, yield farming and staking, I have another video that talks about it, what exactly each one of them and how are they different from each other. The good thing about the apps or decentralized app is the fact they're disconnected, and the only person who has the control is either the coder who created the smart contract that controlling about the exchange or how much are you going to make from staking or putting your money in a staking pool or yield farming, or the other person who has the control is the person who owns the wallet, the one who holds the private key, the mnemonic phrase that basically holds all the keys to your wallet. Which lead me to the next point. If you have full custodial responsibility on your account, it's good and bad thing. As I mentioned during the CeFi advantages, in case money was stolen from your bank account, you can always pick up your phone and call the bank and say, hey, someone did unauthorized transaction on my bank account, on my credit card, and they can always go and reverse the transaction. In a non-custodial wallet, you can't do that. Nobody's going to give you that money back. Not MetaMask and not any of these centralized exchange will tell you as soon as you transfer your money out of our exchange, there's not much we can do about it. You're on your own, buddy.
Son, you're on your own.
So it's an advantage and disadvantage. It's advantage because they have no control on your money. It's a disadvantage because they have no control on your money. And if you're not responsible and know how to keep your money safe, you're pretty much screwed. Let's move on to the disadvantages of the DeFi. So what are the disadvantages of the DeFi? As you notice, I already mentioned parts of them because I think they can play in both ways. The disadvantages and the advantages, some of them are also correlated. Depends on how you look at it. So the disadvantages are, first of all, as I mentioned, the system is anonymous. It's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because if you want to stay anonymous, if you're a rich person and you don't want people to know who you are and how to find you and how to find your money or where you're hiding your money, just stay anonymous. The meaning they have no idea how much money you have. And it doesn't matter, how much money you have as long as you're anonymous. So you can trade as much as you want. And that way you can stay anonymous and still showing the transaction that you're doing on the blockchain. It's anonymous and transparent at the same time. But as I said, it's anonymous. So if someone steals your money, even if you know who they are, it's not helping you much. You can't really go after that person and say,
where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money?
Or sue him or call the police. nobody's going to help you. They're going to tell you, sorry, you can't give us any information about that person. And even if you would, like, even if we one day decide to regulate all the wallets, or create a wallet that have some kind of ID tracking to it with a phone number, name, and address, people can fabricate it. People can call themselves Donald Duck, and they say they live in the White House. Who's gonna verify this information? A lot of centralized exchanges, they're asking today to verify an ID. At least in Texas, when you register, you need to verify your ID with the apps only through Decentralized Finance. So if you purchase some coins on that platform, they know it came from your account. So I think that's the only way to kind of stay in control. I think that's what the regulators are trying to do in order to prevent frauds and scams. But still, as you see, there's a lot of loopholes, because there probably still gonna be ways that you can register a wallet without actually have a name. And you already see that there's on MetaMask, they're not asking you for your name. They're not asking you for your wallet, and for your address, for your phone number, for your social security. They don't care about that stuff. They said as long as you have an internet connection, we'll give you a whole account with keys. You just have to keep your mnemonic phrase somewhere safe, because if you lose it, you're on your own. Another disadvantage, as I said, every transaction happens on the blockchain, meaning every transaction requires some gas fees. It's good and bad. Since it's very transparent, you can see everything on the blockchain. But on the other hand, it's bad because you have to pay for every transaction. And if you're a coder and you have to pay every time you want to change something in your code of the smart contract, it's becoming very expensive business to run. Same thing is, small transaction. Currently, the gas fees are fairly high. So small transaction, like if you want to buy Coke at the store, you're probably not going to buy it with Bitcoin or with Ethereum, especially not Ethereum, because just the transaction fee can run up to almost $50. So it's not really worth it. That's why I feel like we still have a long way to go through to get to a point that the blockchain will be really useful and really accessible, really easy to use and low fees, that people would be able to use it for even low ticket products or services. And that way it will get more usage. And as I mentioned, if a coin or a system will have more usage to it, it's going to become more acceptable among the majority of people. Another point we talked about, DeFi is trustless and permissionless. They mentioned it in the blog. As I said, it could be advantage and disadvantage because it's trustless and permissionless. There is no involvement of government. There's no customer service. If your money is stolen, if someone took your money without your permission, you're on your own, buddy. And there's not much you can do about it, because you can't become a vigilante and find that person, because you really have to be a hacker or have specialty tools in order to actually track the person and say, give me my money back. I know you took my money because I can see it. And I think this is where the regulators are going to try to step in and prevent these kind of situations that scammers are taking the money, all kind of rug pulls that I think that the major problem is not from the blockchain. That scammers were probably not going to try to break into the blockchain because they know it's almost impossible. What they're trying to do currently is to break into your personal wallet, because this is much easier. They can either find your password or they can find your wallet address. But if you watch a few seconds ago, I said you're having higher chances of winning the lottery 22 times that they would find the actual account ID of your wallet. So if they're not engaged with you, if you didn't talk to them and give them some kind of information, either your account number, your wallet address, something that pointing out to the direction of your wallet, they probably were not even going to be engaged with you. And I'm going to make another video that talks exactly about what to know in order to be safe when you're buying or selling or looking for airdrops of crypto. As I say, currently it is a wild west. So you gotta be careful. You gotta know where are the pitfalls, what to look for, where are the red flags, and what you should notice when you're trading crypto, when you're staking them, and all that stuff. If you be smart about it and put your money in the right places and be smart about keeping your money safe, the probability of your money will disappear is very low. This is very early stage of cryptocurrency. You should be aware. You should be very skeptical about where you connect your wallet. Every place, if you following a lot of influencers in the crypto world, they're talking about airdrops, about staking. You should be aware and do your own research before you connecting your wallet to any suspicious website. So you might gonna try to stake your money or transfer your money to a new wallet, to a new website that promising airdrop, promising NFTs. But if you see something that is not familiar, not a new coin or a new NFT in your wallet, don't click it. Don't click it. Also, I suggest make sure you're doing good research, and I'm going to give you a few tips in a different video how to do research. What everybody's telling you, do your own research. These are going to be a few tips that you should learn. You should know how to do your own research in order to prevent yourself from falling into these traps that the scammers are putting in order to break into your wallet. They're probably not going to try to break into the blockchain because it's almost impossible to temper numbers within the blockchain. What they're going to try to do is to break into your wallet, and when they have an access to your wallet, then they're just going to transfer the money to their wallet. Why do we need decentralized finance? What is it good for? With inflation rates going up, and it feels like we're losing faith in our government and the financial institution since 2008, even till this very day, after the pandemic, and we're still in the pandemic technically, you can feel that the majority of the population is already losing faith in the government and in the financial system. I suspect that inflation is probably going to go up at least till 2024. So if you want to keep your money safe, I suggest follow me to the next video to talk about digital wallets. How to keep your money safe, and it's even safer than actual wallet or a safe. So check it out.